Hello and welcome to AWAKEN, where we share the insights to the connection between science and spirituality for self-discovery, joy, and freedom. My name is Stephanie Rouch. I'm your host and spiritual coach, and I am so thrilled to be here with Erica Bassani. Erica is an Italian writer, and after living a year in a Buddhist monastery, she completed the Academy of Writing and combined her passions in the Women Awakening Project. We're going to be talking about that a lot here today. And that really is a space to gather interviews with female masters across spiritual traditions. Super juicy topic. So thank you for joining, Erica, and tell us about your personal connection to spirituality.
Yeah, hi Stephanie. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very, very glad to be here sharing about the Women Awakening Project. So I started practicing when I was 20. I started with Bassani meditation retreats, and it completely changed my life. Already since the first retreat, I discovered I was not the person that I thought I was. And it opened a completely new way of seeing the life. Then I met the Buddhist monks of the Theravada Thai forest tradition here in Italy, and that is where I lived 1 year in the monastery with them, learning the basics of the practice and realizing that it really takes a long time. Like 1 year sounds like a lot, but it is not. When you're there, you realize you need a lifetime basically to really get into the practice of transforming the mind. And after that, I thought about becoming a nun. So I had a little controversy within myself, and then decided not to. I was not ready for that step. And I came back into the world and did the writing academy. And so since then, my priority is really integrating the spiritual journey into the daily life. And this is how the Women Awakening Project was born.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And what is so fascinating to me is your trajectory from spirituality first and how now this desire to synthesize wisdom across traditions is in a way like a very qualitative, subjective, feminine approach to science. So there's this really beautiful combination of both, starting with spirituality and really rooted in spirituality. So we're going to dive in quite a bit more to this project where you are synthesizing wisdom across traditions. Such an important project. And you told us a little bit about the background, but I'd love to hear why did you choose this specific topic? Why focus on women?
Yeah. So actually 2 years ago, I went through a momentary crisis, let's say, of huge proportions.
Okay.
I was 29, and they say that when you turn 29, something huge is going to happen in your life. And I wasn't believing that, but then it happened. So now I align with that astrological prediction. And I just felt, let's say, destroyed on an emotional level because I broke up with my partner, and all sorts of shadows came up to the surface, and something really bigger than me that I didn't know how to deal with. And also the meditation practice, the Dhamma practice, could not help me in that moment. It was as if it has abandoned me and to leave me really on my own in this unknown, in this ocean of sorrow on one side, and also not knowing. And after a while, I think I let go in there, and I basically connected with for the first time in my life with the divine as a female entity.
Mm,
Like I have never conceived that before, nor was interested in that. But in that moment, I was like, no, it's something here is missing, you know. And I felt the need of contacting women that dedicate their life to the spiritual practice. And sometimes they are nuns, sometimes they are lay women, sometimes they create communities, sometimes they live alone somewhere as a hermit. So really all kinds of ways and all kinds of tradition in which women fully embrace the journey of the heart
mm,
and bring it on through all the challenges of life.
mm.
Yeah. And so this is how I started. I was in India and I started there interviewing at masters.
Wow. Wow. So this really was born from your own need to connect with yourself. Your the tools that you had been given so far just weren't touching the sorrow you were feeling. And I imagine that so many people watching will be able to relate to this. And you're really taking it a step deeper of there, let's see if there's something more beyond these masculine tools. And I'm curious, would you be willing to share what are some of the key insights that you've learned so far from women across traditions?
Yeah. So of course it's very hard to talk about this topic, and there are many beliefs and myths, and that I would like to avoid falling in a few traps here regarding the feminine and regarding
Yeah.
um, the spirituality world. So I will try to do my best. And what can I say is that, of course, the journey of the heart is beyond gender.
Yeah.
And of course, the divine has no gender.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter if we are women, men, or whatever we feel we are. The journey of the heart is a journey of knowledge, towards knowledge of what is here, what is really there, and it's beyond gender. But it's also true that we are in a body and we are in a time. So, and there are conditionings regarding the body form and the time in which we are living that make it so that for women still nowadays in most spiritual traditions it is for example harder to become nuns or to be supported in their spiritual path. But also if we think as modern lay women, no, right now we are trying to juggle so many aspects of life, trying to be very good at being mothers and being managers and the family, the work, and get to know yourself. And we're juggling so many things, and we absolutely need not to lose contact with that divine feminine that is inside all of us, men included. But of course, especially women have to remember that when they are trying to master in their life.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, so some of the things are, for example, the way of softness, the importance of being soft in life. In which sense? Not in the sense, of course, of letting everything, go and accepting whatever comes. It's not just that. It's more about truly embracing actually, it is a Tao belief, it is a Tao truth, Taoism, that the strongest force in the universe is not the hard force, but is the soft force. And this means not that men are bad or whatever. It means that there is a common belief nowadays that, to get things, you have to play hard. And, there is a lot of ego involved in this, a lot of violence involved in this, and sometimes brutality, triviality. So all of this we can really do without, because that doesn't help us to go to live life from a hard place.
Yeah.
the heart requires us to be firm, determined, but also soft,
Mm.
which is, in a way, yeah, it's less obvious, than just you want something, you get it. No, it's like you have to become a bit like water. This is one of the main topic, and of course, it's really big, that I'm learning from all the masters. And
Mm.
then one last thing is that a lot of this transmission is actually something not tangible, so it's literally hard to say in which way it is different, the spirituality of women.
Mm.
What do they transmit that is different from men? So the research is on, and more and more, I hope I will be able to share with words what is this transmission about in particular.
Well, for those who do identify as women or identify with their feminine nature, I bet that there's this building sense of excitement, like, okay, you are touching on something where I don't even know what that part of my heart is. And I know there's a strength that comes from being really determined and focused, but also patient, and taking action, but also doing the dance with the universe, with God, with the other forces at play, where I'm active, but I'm still listening. And anyone going on this journey knows that it is kind of difficult to put into words, and it requires a letting go and a diving in, but not a passivity, more like I'm here, but I'm also open.
Yeah, yeah, you said it beautifully. It's exactly that. Yeah.
And I so appreciate your point at the beginning about not falling into common traps, and want to offer an invitation to anyone who does feel like you are living in a body or some sort of cultural program where something about your identity is marginalized. Where for women, there have been thousands of years of programming telling women a lot of things about how they should be, but also that they're not as good as men, and that something about men is just stronger, better, more important. And that's really damaging. And so there is something important about diving into what is divine about my feminine nature that's a really important part of me so that I can fully heal. And there are other groups that are also marginalized and can have so much power by finding that divine within that beautiful part of whatever that identity is. So Erica, you're doing it as a woman, and I wonder if you want to build on that invitation at all to any other any other group. It could be women, it could be anything related to a way that you still feel less than, but you want to heal that part of yourself.
Yeah. Well, you are also doing doing it, and I'm sure many of the women watching, everyone is on their way, right? To So it's a big way. I'm feeling, on a very big journey. It's really exciting, and of course, women have to. There are a lot of beliefs sometimes that we are not even aware that we are carrying. So they are like underneath the carpet, and we might say, "Oh, come on, I don't have that." But maybe it's there because it's not literally yours. It's
Yeah.
something inherited by the psyche, by the collective psyche, or by the female lineage of your family. So, and I believe this can get in the way of the spiritual practice, but can also go in the way of the own development.
Oh.
And of course, yeah, so I invite everyone to discover. to discover and to have the courage of going there in those parts of ourselves that need to be seen and are usually underneath carpets or like closed in wardrobes, you know, in closed rooms within ourselves, where we're like, I don't want to go there. I don't care, you know, my life works anyway. But, you know, there is so much in those areas that are hard for us to access sometimes. And so, usually having the courage, the willingness is already enough to give yourself the possibility to let that unfold and finally inform your life in a new way. So, whatever is the feeling of the feeling that you are having in your life towards maybe, you know, realizing your dreams or coming to be a more complete being, let's say, and maybe you have different kind of beliefs in yourself and obstacles regarding this, watch them straight in the face. This is my suggestion, is yeah, watch it straight in the face and embrace it and dance with it and bring it along with you, because ultimately we grow as a whole. We cannot leave parts of ourselves behind.
Mm. Beautiful, beautiful. And that connects in with bridging science and spirituality, where that's more cultural and collective. And then within, it's bridging what seem like contradictory forces within ourselves. And I'm wondering if you're willing to dive in a little deeper to anybody you've interviewed who does combine science and spirituality in their own practice.
This is a very interesting question, actually, because, for example, Buddhism is considered a very scientific approach, let's say, in getting to know the mind and getting to know the heart and getting to know the processes. And so I could talk about the Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo, that is the first woman I interviewed. She's a very well-known Tibetan teacher. I mean, she's British, of British origin, but she's part of the Tibetan Buddhism, the Kagyu lineage. And so I could talk about her experience in Buddhism, but I would say even more. I interviewed, the second person I interviewed was a Taoist priestess, Karine Martin. And she's a French woman. She's a neuroscientist. And she was a totally rational type of person. She grew up in a family of scientists and didn't believe in anything, and was sent to do some research in China, where she was also forced to go to visit the local temples. And she was just, oh my God, this is so annoying. You know, people are just there with incenses, praying to statues, like it made no sense to her. And then she had a mystical experience, getting into a cave that everybody said to be a very sacred cave and so on. So she, not believing in it at all, despite that, she had a mystical experience. And then she became a Taoist nun. And she literally lived in the temple in China for 15 years. So I think this is very interesting because we think that science and spirituality are different realms. They are not. They are different ways of knowing. And they are actually both looking at getting to know reality, the reality of things. What is really going on in matter? Okay, we see the table, but what is really going on there? Actually, it's just atoms and void and energy. It's just energy. Okay, so in meditation, in the spiritual practices, we want to do the same, but we don't look into, we don't have external tools. We don't go into laboratories and so on. We use the internal tools that we have, the capacity of seeing of the mind itself. So I think we are really allies, and I'm very happy when these two are combined together. And I know many times meditators are also let's say scientists experiment on meditators, like they measure the heartbeats and if something changes with the meditations, and a lot is coming up that yes, of course, something is measurable,
Mhm.
but there is also something that is not measurable. And this is also important to remember. And I think these gaps that many people experience gaps in terms of consciousness, like just that are hard to explain, not measurable, but then your life is changed completely. So how can you how can you prove that? How can you? Yeah. So it's a very interesting relationship.
That was so beautifully said. And I'm wondering, this is a perfect segue into if you're willing to guide us through any sort of meditation or exercise that you like to do that helps you or can help others get into that space of experience where they can learn and know for themselves what that possibility of change is.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Sure. Okay.
So maybe we just come to the body because most of our time we tend to be up here, and the simplest thing we can do, always available, is we come into the body and into the heart. So we
Mm.
just take a comfortable position. We can be seated wherever, and maybe the our back can be straight. We straighten it up and we start feeling the comfort of being in the body, supported by the earth, very solid. And also in our body, there is the solidity of the earth is present. And we can really feel strong and steady like mountains. And then we can feel the space around us. And within us. And we can feel lightness. The space to be. To simply be. And then there is the wind element, the breath that is connecting space and matter, consciousness, and the body. And we can do a few breaths in full awareness. Aware of every in-breath aware of every out breath. this magic, this miracle of the breathing process that is keeping us alive, is keeping us also aware. It's really a magic tool to come back to the present. To the heart area, and we connect to the fire within, to the sun within, our capacity of warming up our life. We can also bring our hand on the heart. The heart is capable to transform events into life lessons, external situation into steps within. And we can conclude by wishing for ourselves. May I be happy. And for everyone else, every being, without exclusions. May all beings be happy. Dedicating this to them.
Thank you. Thank you. So beautiful. Thank you for guiding us through that. And thank you, everyone, for participating. You get that taste of the unmeasurable part of what meditation and spirituality offers. And Erica, I'm wondering if you can share about a free gift you have for audience members who are tuning in and how people can stay connected with you.
Sure. So you can visit the website www.womenawakeningproject.com, and you can subscribe to the newsletter, and in that way you are going to receive a gift. It's going to be some video where I share the main discoveries of the project and some exclusive part of the interviews I did. And yeah, you can also follow us on Instagram. You can go to take a look at the video interviews on the YouTube channel. and stay updated. A lot is going to happen.
Fantastic. I will definitely be signing up for that and so appreciative of this work that you're doing and sharing with the world. And thank you for your time today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stephanie, for inviting me. And I am really happy to do this work. And I am trying to do it in a soft way. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. We'll keep each other accountable on that.
absolutely. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to this amazing interview as part of our Awaken series. I hope you found value. Check out the rest of the interviews on Awaken. Keep tuning in and please subscribe to Paradigm Expansions to stay in touch, where we are doing more events like this. And we are all about dropping in to your heart, to your true self, to really, truly love your life. Thank you for joining. See you on the next video.